Welcome to Incorporating Superpowers. I am your host, Justin Recla, and today we're gonna be having a lot of fun. My guest is extremely high energy. She loves helping entrepreneurs. She's passionate about what she does and how she does it, and she's a little bit of woo. So today we're gonna be talking about master the law of attraction through the power of publishing. My guest today is Juliet Clark. She's been in the publishing industry for quite some time. And I'm just super excited to have her here to share with you what she's doing and how she's changing the world and challenging the status quo in her industry. So, Juliet, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
This is going to be fun. So, all right. So, one of the biggest things that I like to do on the show here is I like to call out the elephant in the room that we see in different industries. So, what is the biggest issue that you see, or the biggest problem that you see in your industry right now?
So I think it's around platform building, and it is not really qualifying that avatar or ideal client before you begin work on anything.
So in my terminology, that would be KYC, know your client due diligence, right?
Yes.
And this is something that Juliet gets, because you can go read her profile. She's in the Clear Business Directory. She operates a transparent business. She gets and understands the power of doing due diligence. So Juliet, how are you disrupting your industry?
So one of the things we're doing is we hear from entrepreneurs all the time that I've created products and services, they aren't selling. We don't understand why. We hire marketing companies and they ask us who our avatar is, who our client is. And quite frankly, if we knew, we'd be selling stuff and we wouldn't need you. So our disruptor is that we have what we call quiz to qualify, where we actually start having those conversations with our ideal clients and really giving them the transparency that they need us, and we get a lot of feedback from them. So we're actually connecting with our consumer, and when we do that in a meaningful way, we start to build relationships, and those relationships build to intimacy and more sales.
I absolutely love it. And folks, if you've been following the show now for a little bit, you're going to start to see a little bit of a theme here, right? Relationships, relationships, relationships. That's really what this comes back down to, is that the big boys gotten big, and they gotten so big that they've been far removed, and now it just doesn't feel good because there's no connection there. And if you haven't had an opportunity to sit down and talk with Juliet, you're going to feel the difference. You're going to know the difference, because you're going to be able to feel her energy. You're going to be able to connect in a space that you're not going to be able to get from just clicking on somebody's button that says, hey, buy my service or buy my SEO or buy this and I'll help you build your platform. Because what Juliet's doing is completely different. And as you can see, it's relationship based. So Juliet, how do you then, I know you've got your quiz, but how else do you stay connected to your clients?
So I actually have what I call my income producing activities. And, I stay connected because I'm constantly calling them. And I don't mean like calling to bother. I actually will call them, periodically just to find out what they're up to, just to be rah-rah. Would they be a good partner? Where are they at? Mostly because I just like people. And most people say, I don't have time for that. You can't not have time for that. I mean, you have to really demonstrate that you care. And I think with the digital world as it is, and everybody thinking that digital is the end all be all, that relationship building is something that people are really craving. So they appreciate it when you reach out to them.
I think you are spot on with that, because it's the world nowadays it's easy to hide behind a computer screen, right? We see that problem within social media. Everybody's got an opinion and they're hiding behind a keyboard. And I think it's important that we stay connected on it. For me, I'm very visual. That's why I'm doing a video podcast, not just an audio podcast. I'm a very visual. I think there's importance to see the energy, to feel the energy, and connect in with that. And so, I love what it is that you're doing and how you're doing it. So, what are some of the things that people can be doing now to really get them more traction in their business?
So, one of the things I think people really miss in the entrepreneurial world is that you have to be doing income activities every day, income producing activities. We really get caught up in I have to produce content and I have to be on social media. And I think we've lost that ability to be one on one. So, you have to make that time every day, whether you like it or not, because I know most people don't like sales, but you have to pick up the phone and you have to connect and keep yourself connected. It doesn't have to be a sale. It can just be a, hey, how are you? You know, what have you been up to? How can I serve you? What can I do to make your
Absolutely
day?
love that. I absolutely love that. And and you're absolutely right. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to end and result in a sale, but it's a connection. It's an energy. I'm going to take a break from creating and I'm going to connect. I'm going to reach out to those that are following me, those that are listening to me, and there's multiple ways of doing that, folks. It's not just you don't have to get on a phone call. I mean, you can do a video, you can do something that adds value, that reminds people of who you are and the type of person that you can have that you want them, that you want
Mhm,
potential clients to have with you, and you can show them something different. I absolutely
mhm.
absolutely love that. So what's your one big go-to for your client that you tell your clients that they should be doing, that can really help them up that game of connection?
So, a lot of my people have Facebook groups. It's part of the funnel that we create with Quiz to Qualify. And I suggest that they connect with those members and offer an introductory interview with each and every one of them. And I suggest they do that not only to get to know those people in their group better, but also to create an atmosphere of collaboration. So if you hear something from the person I'm interviewing today and you think there would be good synergy as partners, or maybe you're interested in their program, connect. So I think it really helps people connect on a bigger level than just throwing them all in that group and hoping that they don't spam each other to death.
I love that. Okay, we're all going to try to sell to each other now, right? We're all
Exactly.
going to, and then all you end up doing is having to babysit the people that are in your group. To like, you can't do that here. That's not what this group's about. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation in of itself, right? I absolutely, absolutely love that. So, there's so much to this conversation, because what you're doing is not just helping people get sales, but you're helping them connect, and that is one of the biggest things that I think is missing in business today. You and I were both members of CEO Space, and I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, and but for me, it's one of the reasons why I love going there
Mhm.
is because of the relationships, right? Because of the connection, and that I mean, we've been going for 8 years now, and it's truly just building relationships with one another, and when you do that, it takes your business to the next level. So, Juliet, before we go on break, can you share with our listeners where they can find out more about you?
Yes, you can go over to superbrandpublishing.com.
Awesome. Superbrandpublishing.com. And you have been listening to Incorporating Superpowers. Today, we're talking to Juliet Clark about how to master the law of attraction through the power of publishing. And when we come back from the break, we're going to dive into this a little bit more. So stay tuned.
Are you an entrepreneur who speaks at conferences? Have you attended a conference and seen someone on stage you know is guilty of bad business practices? If you want to stand out from the crowd and give your prospective clients peace of mind, then make sure your business is in the Clear Directory. All of our members operate in transparency and are screened annually for frauds and scams. Stand out from the crowd and get in the Clear Directory. Visit clearbusinessdirectory.com/join to sign up today.
Welcome back to Incorporating Superpowers. My guest today is Juliet Clark. She's been in the publishing industry for quite some time. She's a master relationship builder. She's got some unique superpowers, and that's what I want to find out, Juliet, is what are your superpowers?
So I consider my superpowers relationship building. And one of the things I really pride myself on in my business is ethical enrollment.
Mm. So explain to me what that means. What is ethical enrollment?
So I see with a lot of the programs and services out there that when you go through sales training, they automatically take you up to that highest level, like go in at 25,000 and then downsell them as you go along. We actually use the Quiz to Qualify platform to identify where people are actually at and sell them into the program that serves where they are today, not where they think they should be or where I want to make money at. Woo, what a concept.
Ooh, what a concept, folks. This is that right there. That right there. If you need to have a conversation with Juliet just for that point alone, I can't tell you how many of the smarmy sales tactics that we see, the run to the back of the room and buy my $15,000 package. Folks, you don't need it. You don't need it. You need to be where you're at in business. And that's why I love what she does, is that she's going to meet you where you're at. Not saying that you need, if you're here, be here and then grow into it, as opposed to trying to buy the big luxury package and you're not even ready for it. Right? So what does that look like for you in your clients? How do you start off clients? Where do you start them off at? And what do you evolve them into?
So we usually start them off with our assessment marketing and really get them connected to their audience. And a lot of times they find out they've been connected to the wrong audience, which is why they haven't been selling. And then from there, we move them into more advanced marketing techniques. I feel like my job at the end of the day is not only to connect those people with their ideal audience, but to create an education for them in marketing so that when they do go out and hire a marketing company and that company says, we're getting you 1,000 clicks, but there are no sales, that they can call BS and say, I can't make my car payment with clicks. Something has to change here. Instead of getting, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 into it and then saying, oh, this isn't working and firing them. So I really want to empower people that are choosing marketers to choose wisely and well.
I absolutely love that. And folks, that right there is the real elephant in the room, is that the marketing industry, they don't really care about the people that are doing it the old way, the old fashioned way of, it's just about getting you clicks. It doesn't work. This. If you can feel it, right? Like, ooh, I got 1,000 clicks. And then you go look at your bank account and you're like, yeah, but we didn't sell anything. What good does that do you? And realistically, the whole purpose of the reason why I wanted to do this show, why I started incorporating superpowers, was to really start calling out those old ways of doing business and uplifting and highlighting people like Juliet that are doing something completely different from a heart-centric place, that they recognize they got superpowers. They know that there's not just a different way of doing business, but a better way of doing business. So Juliet, tell us a little bit about what's the ideal avatar for who you serve, and how can and I love how this all ties back to that law of attraction, right? It comes back to, what are you putting out and what you get back in. How, what is the thing that you see, who are the clients that you can serve best, and where do they need to be in their own business before they should engage with you?
That is such a great question. There's a place I love to capture them, and there's a place that I hate capturing them, but they need me desperately. So let me start with new businesses, coaches, authors, speakers, some small businesses. We will tell you if we don't think what we do serves your business. We won't. We're very transparent about that. New businesses is great because then you don't waste time with the wrong people. So that's why we serve those new people. We have a group of people that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaches, on services, on programs that haven't served them. And they've created products and services that aren't selling. So we're kind of the last ditch effort for those people to really connect and start finding out why all of this isn't working for them. So anybody we can catch in that range of already to, just starting out, we can serve all those people in a better way to get more sales and connect with more people.
I absolutely love it. It's that connection space is, and what I love what you just said is that you're going to tell them if you can't help them. You're going to be,
Oh, yeah.
you're, it's not a good fit. I mean, folks, listen to that, okay? Because if the service provider or the business owner is not willing to say no, and they know intrinsically that you're not a good fit, and they're just doing it just because they want to take your money, you need to pay attention to those things. Tap into your own superpowers, because you know when that's happening, and you're going to feel the difference. You want to feel the difference? Pick the phone, call Juliet, have a conversation with her, and feel the difference between somebody that's hiding behind a computer screen and just putting you into a sales funnel and closing you on a system, rather than and compare that against what it feels like to have a conversation with somebody that is heart centric, who is looking out for your best interest. Because at the end of the day, it's good for her business. If it's good for your business, it's good for her business. I mean, that's just the way it works, right? And that's what we're getting back to. I think we've gotten so far away from the inauthenticity of business that what you're doing, Juliet, is so needed in today's market, especially for the coaches that are just starting out, for those that are thinking that the answer is to take $20,000 and throw it against the wall, hoping something sticks. You come in and you show people that no, there's actually a better way of doing it, and you can start out and be where you're at. I absolutely love that. Julia, anything special coming up for you that you'd like to share with the audience?
Coming up, we have our May quiz to qualify that's coming up, I guess, like in the next week. We have a couple spots left. I don't know when this is going to air, but we restart the program every 2 months. And so we have that coming up very soon.
Fantastic. Well, be listening then. Make sure you go check that out. Make sure you give Juliet a shout out if you're needing some assistance with literally leveraging your industry and really converting sales and getting your messages out to the right people. Make sure you reach out and connect with Juliet. You can find her in the Clear Business Directory. And Juliet, where can our listeners go find you one more time?
Superbrandpublishing.com. And if you want to test out our platform, you can go over to www.leadlogicquiz.com and check out one of the quizzes and see what it's all about.
Fantastic. Well, Juliet, thank you so much for being on the show today. And folks, thank you again for listening and following us here on the show. We appreciate your loyalty. And as always, thank you for your trust. Make sure you tune into the next week's show, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.
Thank you.